Today we're going to show you how to make a rockabilly dress just like the one that I'm wearing. What you'll need to make this dress is some good material scissors, some tailor's chalk, lots of pins, a zip about 55 centimetres, some fabric. You'll need 2.5 metres of fabric and a pattern. You can find a link to this pattern in the description below. The fabrics that I like to use to make these rockabilly dresses is a cotton drill or a heavy cotton. I just find that they work really well and make the dress sit really nice. Now we're going to cut the pattern out. Make sure you've washed your fabric before you use it. So what I've done is laid the front and the back down on the fabric. I've folded it over so that it fits the two of them. I'm going to pin those down and cut them out. The pattern that we've included in this tutorial has 4 pieces, which is just the bodice of this dress. Now we're going to show you how to cut out the skirt of the bodice. It's actually one long strip of fabric, so that's why we didn't include it in the pattern. Now I'm going to show you how to cut that long strip out. First of all, grab your tape measure, pop that around your waist. So I am 35 inches around my waist. So what I'm going to do is that 35 inches, I'm going to double that for the skirt, and that will be this bit here that gathers around. So that's going to be 70 inches long. And then we're going to measure the length that we want for the dress. So put your tape measure on your hip and measure down to where you want it. So I'm going to have mine to my knee, and I'm going to add an extra 2 inches for the hem, so that will be 25 inches. So I'm going to have a strip of fabric that's 70 inches long and 25 inches in length. Okay, once you've cut your patterns out, turn the fabric inside out and then lay your pattern back on top, and now we're going to draw the darts in with the tailor's chalk. So just make sure your pattern's all lined up and just draw the darts on like that with your tailor's chalk. Make sure you do that both sides. The next step is to sew the darts in the dress. What I've done is pin the darts in place on the front and the back, and now we're going to stitch them in. Just make sure you double stitch the darts because it just makes them nice and strong. Now we're going to pin the front bodice and the back together, and the front facing and the back facing together. So get your front bodice out like this, facing up. Grab your 2 back pieces, pop them shoulder to shoulder, like that. And just pin your shoulders together. Alright, so you got your shoulders pinned together on your bodice, and now we're going to do the same on the lining. So, right sides up, grab the back lining, now we're going to stitch the shoulders together. So you've got the bodice pinned together, the front and the back. We're going to stitch both across, so double stitch those and overlock them. And the same with the facing. Double stitch those and overlock them. Once you've stitched the shoulders of the lining and the bodice together, now we're going to pin around the arms and around the neck of the dress. So just grab your pins, put a few pins in. This is just to keep the facing in place while you're sewing it. Once you've pinned the bodice and the lining together, go and sew all those seams. So it's a 1 centimetre seam for the neck and the arms, and overlock those as well. What we're going to do next is we're going to snip some notches around the neck and around the arms. This is just so it sits nicely because it's a curved seam. So we're going to cut about 1 inch snips all the way along, and we're going to cut it a few millimetres, about 7 millimetres in, fairly close to the seam, but don't actually snip the seam. After that, give the bodice a really good iron. So iron all your darts flat and iron the facing in place, and then we're going to pull the bodice inside out. So go through the shoulders, pull them through like this, and just pull the bodice through. Okay, give that a quick iron, and then we're going to sew up the sides of the bodice. Okay, once we've given the whole bodice a really good iron, pull the front and the back together, and we're going to pin the sides together. So match the sides up, pull your facing out there, and just pin all the way down the sides. You're going to do a 1 centimetre seam down the side here. Turn it around and do the same with the other side. Match the sides up, the armholes and the lining, and just pin down the sides there. Okay, so do a 1 centimetre hem along there, overlock that, and then overlock all the inside of the facing as well. Now we're going to attach the bottom of the dress to the bodice of the dress. So I've cut out this strip of fabric, which is double the length of my waist. And then I've got the bodice lying flat. So what we're going to do is grab the length of the fabric, fold it in half, put a pin halfway, fold it in half again, and put 2 pins halfway here. Do the same with your bodice. Fold your bodice in half, put a pin there, fold it in half again, and put 2 pins there. So you're going to have 4 points on your bodice and 4 points on the bottom of the dress, so you can match all of those up and gather it evenly. Once you've pinned the bottom of the skirt with 4 equal points along the skirt, and you've pinned the bodice with 4 equal points, now we're going to match all the pins up together so it gathers really nice and evenly. So put your skirt down on the top of the dress, find your pin and match that up to that pin, and keep doing that all the way along. Okay, grab your pins. We're going to pin all the way along the bodice of the dress. Leave about 1 inch either side of the ends of the dress. That's to make room for the zip to go in. So leave 1 inch, put a pin there, and then start gathering evenly all the way along. So find your 4 points and pin those down, and then add a few extra pins in so you can just gather it evenly. Stitch a 1 centimetre seam all the way along the gathered line and overlock it as well. Now we're going to put the zip into the back of the dress. Before we do that, just overlock down both sides of the dress so that when we put them together and stitch the zip in, they'll be secure. Okay, grab your zip, pop it next to the back of the dress, so measure it right to the top of the dress here. Pull your zip down along the back of the dress. Find the end point of the zip, grab a pin and pop that in right there where the bottom of the zip is. Pull the zip away, bring the rest of the dress over, match the back of the dress up, and where you've got that pin, just pin a seam all the way down to the hem of the dress. Stitch that at 1.5 centimetres, and that's going to be the back seam of your dress. Now that that seam's been sewed up the back of the dress, pull the dress inside out. And now we're going to put the zip in. Okay, fold the back of this over, give yourself about a 1 centimetre hem on that one, on both sides. going to pin that zip in all the way down to there. I'm going to do an exposed seam on this one, so I'm going to pin it on the outside and stitch it on the outside, but you can also put the zip on the inside and put those seams over the top and stitch it all the way down. Once you've pinned that zip to the dress, you can stitch that in, and now we're going to do the hem of the dress. So just flip your dress over and do a 1-inch hem, and flip it over again another inch, and that's going to be our hem. So just get your pins, pin that all the way along the dress. Give it a quick iron and then sew a nice straight stitch all the way around the bottom and you're done. Thanks for watching our tutorial today on how to make a rockabilly dress. If you have any questions on how to make this dress, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. See you next time.